So if we're looking at this journal, all right, we are specifically talking about all of the different types of graphical representations that you may see either on the EOC or just within this class. You'll also be seeing them again in Math 2 and Math 3. Now, these graphical representations aren't necessarily hard. In fact, you've probably already heard about them before. And they're not necessarily hard to make either. It's mainly the analyzing them that gets some people. All right. So today we're going to talk about how to make these different representations and how to read them. All right. So first off, we got our I can statement. So just somewhere above the cover, this is section 9.3. It's I can graph dash represent data effectively using dot plots, histograms, box plots, and two-way frequency tables. All right. So all of those methods that I just talked about, those are the different methods that we're going to be using to represent data. So in other words, all of these methods are just taking a data set that they gave us, like what they would give us to start a regression or a residual, and then we would have to just basically represent it in a different light. So for example, a scatter plot is a graphical representation of data. All right, so we've already done one like that before. All right, so open up the first flap to dot plots. Now, to me, a dot plot is almost like a bar graph. It's just kind of a dot plot's kind of a mix of a tally and a bar graph. So, in other words, it's used to keep track of how many are in each category. All right. So let's just look at making one first. So we're going to create a dot plot to represent this data below. So Savannah surveyed a random sample of 20 students from a local college to find the average number of hours of sleep they get each night. So this entire set below are the different data points that she gathered. So this is from 20 different people. So this is the number of hours 20 people said they get of sleep. All right, so that's all the data she collected from that survey. Now, we are going to make a dot plot. All right. So the first thing I want to do is find my lowest and highest hours of sleep because those will be my two ends of my dot plots for my axes. Heads up, guys. All right. So take a minute, look through that data set. What is the lowest number in that data set? It is 4. So I'm going to label my lowest 4. What's my highest? 9. All right. And then I'm just going to fill in the ones in between. So 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, we need to label our axes. You always label your axes of what the dot plot represents. So, this is the number of hours of sleep people get. So, we're just going to say it's the number of hours of sleep. And now we'll put people get at the end. All right, so that is what this dot plot is describing, the number of hours of sleep people get. Now, we're just going to go down the line and we're just going to mark a dot or an X or however you want to do it to represent that data point. So what's my first number? 6. So I'm going to put a dot here at 6. What's my next number? 7. What's the next one? So all we're doing is going through that list of numbers at the top and marking them on the dot plot. So what's the next one? 4. So I'm going to draw a dot over 4. What's the next one? 8. What's the next one? 6. So we're going to put another dot above 6. What's the next one? 5. What's the next one? 5 again. What's the next one? 6. Then we got 7, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 9, 5, 8, 6, 6, and 7. All right. So your dot plot looks something like this. Guys, heads up. Come on. Now, your dot plot is a really good indicator of, 1, what was the most common answer. 2, it makes it easier to find things like your median and your mean because it's now all in order. All right. So let's answer some questions about it. So if I asked you, what number of hours of sleep do most people in this set get? What would you say? 6 hours, because that's the one that most people said. All right. Now, how many people said 6 hours? 7. So 7 people said 6 hours. How many said 5? 5 people said 5. 2 said 4. 3 said 7. 2 said 8. And 1 said 9. Now, a good way to check yourself to make sure you plotted all of the correct dots. How many did they take in the sample? How many people did they ask? 20. So if you add up all these numbers, it should give you 20. So 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 7 is 14, plus 3 is 17, plus 2 is 19, plus 1 is 20. So we have all of our dots listed. Now, let's answer some common questions that we might get. The median. What does it mean by median? You guys learned this before. It's the what? So it's kind of the name, median. What does that sound like? Middle. All right. So your median is your middle. So you're trying to find what number you have in the middle. Now, you could go through the process of crossing off each dot from left to right. Or we could find where the middle is. So if we're looking, guys, heads up, or you'll be standing up. Come on. So if we look at the numbers here, if there's 20 people, what number is halfway between 20? 10. So we're going to look at where 10 and possibly 11 are because, again, we'll have an even number. So where do you think from left to right the 10th person will fall under what number? 6. Where would the 11th fall? Still 6. So we have to guess that our middle or our median is 6. Now, our mean. All right. What does it mean by mean? So what are we trying to find? We're trying to find the mean. So median is the middle. Mean is the what? Right. You add them all up, divide by how many there are. What's the word for that? It's taking a, starts with an A. Average. So mean is another name for average. So just like Taylor said, we would add up all of our data set and then divide it by the number that we have, which in this case is 20. So very quickly in our calculator, we're going to do just that. So you got to be careful about this when you're putting this in. So I'm going to do 4 plus 4 plus 5, 5 times, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 6, 7 times, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 7, 3 times, 1, 2, 3, 8 twice, and a singular 9. I'll get 121. Then I'll divide it by what? What's the total number of data points that I have? 20. So then I'm going to take this number, just hit divide, and 20. My mean is 6.05. So it's approximately 6.05. That's my average. So in other words, on average, the amount of sleep that people typically get is 6.05 hours. All right. So what I want you guys to do next, any questions on actually creating the dot plot and finding the different aspects of it? All right. Look at example 2. I want you guys to take a minute, try this one on your own. So what I want you to do is make the dot plot, and then I want you to find the median and the mean. All right. So take about 5-6 minutes, make the dot plot, find the median and the mean. So go ahead and try it. So everyone should be graphing the dot plot and answering what the mean and the median is. Quickly. So guys, if I walk around, I should see that dot plot at the very least. This is not an option. You need to practice this. So I can make your dot plot, find the median, and find the mode. Not the mode, the mean. Thumbs up if you're ready. There's 1 more minute. All right. So check your answer for actually drawing out the dot plot. Put the phones up. All right. So that's what your dot plot should have looked like. Now, how many were actually asked about how many miles they ran the first week? How many people were asked? Say it again. 22. All right. So if you took the median, what'd you guys get? It'll be 6. All right. Yes. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was 23. Yeah, I think it's 23. But the median is still 6 because you're looking for which number. Which number do you think will be halfway of 23? So what's 23 divided by 2? It's about 11 and a half, right? So in other words, we're probably looking for 12 or 11. Where if we counted from left to right, 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, plus 5 is 10, plus 3 is 13. So it has to kind of end up, our median has to end up somewhere here. So our median has to be 6. Now, when you guys took the mean, what'd you guys get? So did you guys take the mean? What'd you get? Come on, guys, what'd you get? You should have already done this. What did you get? I'm not giving it to you. Say it again. 8.73. It's not quite what I got. May have forgot to add something in. Anyone got something different? Anyone else get something different? That's what I got. All right. So it's a 6.13, or I would say 5.78. So 6.13, 5.78, but on my key it says 6.13. So I'm assuming that's what I got. So our mean is approximately 6.13. So the students on average ran about 6.13 miles a week. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our 5-minute break, come back and do histograms, and then we'll be done for the day. We'll do the rest of it tomorrow. All right? So we're going to come back and finish histograms, and then we will do the rest tomorrow. All right, so go ahead and take your 5-minute break. Be back before the timer goes off.
That's crazy. You're a father? Yeah. That's why he's.
All right, guys. So let's get back to it. So heads up, breaks over. Come on. All right. So now we're looking at histograms. All right. So go to the next tab where it says histogram. All right. So with histograms are very similar to a bar graph, but they're a little bit different. So histograms kind of show a range of numbers. They show how many in our data set fit within this range. All right. And it kind of connects, it flows. Unlike a bar graph that's very discrete. It's like this has this many, this has this many, this has this many. So that's where it kind of differs from a box plot. Not a box plot, a dot plot. All right. So whenever you make histograms, the first thing you want to do is make a frequency table. Now, what a frequency table is is that it tells us how many from our set fall within this range. All right. So this data set below, all those numbers, are the time and minutes it took members of a cross-country team to run their 5-kilometer race on the list below. All right. So what I want you guys to do, look through that data set and tell me the lowest number and the highest number. So look through that data set, find the lowest number and the highest number. So the lowest time and the highest time it took. Not yet, just circle it just right now. So once you find the lowest and the highest, circle it. Shh. All right. So what you guys get for the lowest number? 18.02, which is right here. That's my lowest. What's your highest? 29.07. So right here. All right. So if we're going to the nearest whole numbers, all right, what do you think my range would be between? What two numbers? Whole numbers, no decimals. 18 and 30. So I would say that we're going to make a histogram with a range from 18 to 30. All right, this is our range that we're going to have in minutes. So our range of minutes. All right, so on my graph, and I'm actually going to write this over here. So 18 to 30 is our range of minutes. So on our graph, I'm going to write over here the timing or number of minutes. So the time in minutes. And I'm going to label each tick from 18 to 20. So 18 would be where about 0 is, because the lowest was 18. None of them was lower than 18. Then I'm just going to go up by 2s. And the reason I do that is that 30 would fit perfectly in there if you go up by 2s. Now, on the side, we're going to have our frequency. And all frequency is the number of times it happens. All right. And I'm just going to go up by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, before we even put anything on the histogram, we're going to make our frequency table. So in other words, what we're going to do is we're going to find how many times are between 18 and 20, between 20 and 22, 22 to 24, and so on and so forth. All right, and we'll do that by making a really quick tally chart. That's all a frequency table is. It's just a quick tally chart. All right. Because what the histogram is going to look like when we're done is it'll look like a bar graph, but it's all going to be connected because we're saying that this many people have between these two times was this many people, and so on and so forth. So our frequency table would be something like this. So we want from 18 to 20, 20 to 22, 22 to 24, 24 to 26, 26 to 28, and 28 to 30. And we're just going to go down the line and mark a tick for whichever time fits within that range. So if it's between those two numbers. All right. So I'm just going to draw some lines here just so we have some separation. All right. So our first number, 2347, where does that fall between? So time 2347, what two numbers is that number between? 22 and 24. So we're going to put a tick here. All right. What's the one below that? What's it between? 24, 26. The next one down, what's that between? 24, 26. What's the next one? 22, 24. What's the next one? 2022. What's the next one? 26, 28. All right. So you guys get the gist of what I'm talking about? How you make that frequency table? All right. So the next one, 2156, that'll be between 20 and 22. 2240 will be between 22 and 24. 2021 is between 20 and 22. 2346, that time is between 22 and 24. 2643, that's between 26 and 28. 2037, that's between 20 and 22. 2744 is between 26 28. 2245 is between 22 and 24. 25 is between 24 and 26. 18.02 is between 18 and 20. 2428 is between 24 26. 1823 between 18 and 20. 2112 between 20 and 22. 2103 2022. 1853 1820. 1932 1820. 2021 2022. 2037 2022. 2208 2024. 2033 2022. 2907 28 to 30. 1837 18 to 20. 24 29 is 24 26, and 2156 is 2022. So this should be the tallies that you have. You should have 5 between 18 and 20, 10 tally marks for 20 to 22, 6 for 22 to 24, 5 for 24 26, 3 for 26 to 28, and 1 for 28 to 30. Any questions on how to actually make that frequency table? So now all we're going to do once we got that frequency table is we're going to take them and basically graph it on the chart. So this is the information that we want to use. So how many people did I have that were between the times of 18 and 20? 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from 18 to 20, and I'm going to go up to 5 and make a bar. All right. So that's the first part of my histogram. What about between 20 and 22? How many? We had 10. So I'm going to go from 20 to 22, and then I'm going to go all the way up to 10, make a bar, come back down and connect it to the previous bar. What about between 22 and 24? How many? 6. So I'm going to come to 6, go all the way down. So that's between 22 and 24. What about 24 to 26? 5. So I'm going to line up with 5, and then draw the bar down to 26. What about 28? 3. So I'm going to go up to 3 and then down. And then we only had 1 between 28 and 30. So the way you read this is that this first bar shows us the number of people between 18 and 20. This next bar shows us from between 20 to 22, the number of people. The next bar shows us 22 to 24, 24 to 26, 26 to 28, and then 28 to 30. And all that means is that 5 people were here, 10 people were here, 6, 5, 3, and 1. That's how you would read a histogram. Any questions on that? All right. So what I want you guys to do for the next one is I want you to make a histogram of this data set. All right. So first off, make your frequency table. Find your highest and lowest numbers, and that would represent what you're going between. So I'm going to give you a hint and go ahead and set up your axes for you. So 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and 55. All right? Use that knowledge and go from there. So I'll give you a couple minutes. Try it on your own. So make a frequency table first, then plot it on your histogram. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So check your answer. Should look something like this. All right. Now, since we're talking about histograms, I want to show you guys something that your calculator can do. All right. Now, I'm just going to show you, but these steps are on that calculator sheet. So the one that I'm looking at on your calculator sheet is this one right here. So plot histograms and box and whisker plots. All right. You can actually get a histogram on your graphing calculator if you want to know the general shape. All right. So what you want to do in your calculator, all right, and you guys don't have to do this, just watch. So heads up. All my heads up. If your neighbor's sleeping, wake them up. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to hit stat and then edit. And in L1, you're just going to insert all the data that they gave you, which I already did. So you guys don't need to do it right now. Then what you're going to do is you hit second and then the Y equals key. And you'll see this. You want to make sure that this first one where it says plot 1 is on. All right, if it's not, hit enter. Make sure on is highlighted. And then from there, you can pick the type that you want. All right, so scatter plots. This one right here is histogram, box plots. All right, so I can scroll down and select the one I want, which I want a histogram. And I'm making sure it's coming from L1 that has a frequency of 1. This should be automatically generated. And then all you do to get your graph is hit zoom, and then you hit 9. And there's your histogram. All right, so your calculator will actually give you your histogram. And all of those steps are on your reference guide that I gave you. Now, to make it more like ours, we can use the window controls to control the width of the bars. So if I'm going to hit window, I'm going to go to the X scalar, and I'm going to say it goes up by 5. All right. And the max here is 55. So it goes from 30 to 55. It's going up by 5. Hit zoom 9 again. Why did it not change? Hit graph. Now that one looks more like our histogram. All right. So there's different ways that you can make it to see that it works. All right. Does that make sense? And again, all these steps are on that sheet that green paper that I gave you. All right. Any questions? All right, sleepyhead. So for the rest of class, there is a delta math on this. It goes in part to the stuff we'll learn tomorrow and today. You should be able to do everything that says dot plots and histograms. Now, in delta math, there's one thing I want to do together with you guys. So everyone take out delta math right now. I just want to show you how to do one thing. So when you get logged on to Delta Math, go to the 9.3 Delta, click the single problem that says create histogram. I just want to show you how to do it in Delta Math so you know how to do it. So heads up. So we're in Delta Math. Once you get in, go to 9.3 Delta Math and click on the first set that says create histograms. It should be a singular problem. So with histograms, the way it works is that when you're graphing these, it doesn't matter how many squares you use on the bottom as long as you're consistent. So pick a number of squares that you want your quote unquote interval to be. All right, so I would suggest either 2 or 3. So the way you do it is they already gave you the frequency table, so you don't have to worry about it. So from 50 to 59, we have 2 students. So I'm going to grab the 2 right here, and I'm going to go 3 squares over. So let's say the magic number is 3. And I'm going to label it from 50 to 59. All right, that's your first bar. So for every other bar from here on, I'm going to make 3 squares. All right. So then from 60 to 69, I have 18. So I'm going to go up to 18 to the next available column. I'm going to go 3 squares over and make sure you go all the way down to the bottom. And I'm going to label it 60 to 69. The next one is 36. So I'm just going to start at the bottom of the next square. Go all the way up to 36. Then slide it over 3. Oh my gosh. It can be a bit finicky, guys. So I'm going to go all the way up to 36 and then slide it over 3 squares. So this will be from 70 to 79. And from 80 to 89, I got 32. So I'm going to start at 32 at the top and just go down. So you have 3 squares. Say it again. Then from 90 to 90, you have 8. So I'm going to go up to where 8 is, go over 3 squares, and go down. I'll leave this up, guys. So all you're doing to make the bars is clicking and dragging. You just got to make sure that the number of squares that you go over to make your bars are consistent. So I would say between 2 to 3 units in width. All right, they got to be the same width. So click up at the top number that you want, drag it over the number of bars that you want, and then bring it down. Then you just label it how it's labeled in the frequency table. So for 2, you would start up here, click it, drag it, pull it down. So it's click, drag, pull down, click, drag, pull down. All right. You guys need to see it again, don't you? All right. So I'm going to redo this one. So this is the 9099. So it says 8 in the frequency table. I'm going to go up in the next available square where it says 8. I'm going to click where it says 8 and drag it over. So that's 3 squares over, and then bring it all the way down to the x-axis. And then label it from 90 to 99. So again, you don't have to do the same number of squares over that I did. You could do 2, you could do 4, as long as it's consistent. You got to do that number for every bar. So I just picked 3 because that's an easy number. If you want to do 2, that's fine as well. It's all about how you label it. You guys good, or do you need to see it one more time? So let's say I took this one away. I took away the 80, 89. It says 32. So I'm going to go all the way up to 32, where the last rectangle. I'm going to make sure it connects. I'm going to click at 32, drag it over 3 units, and then bring it all the way down to the bottom and unclick it. Then you just label it whatever it says in the frequency table. So 80 to 89. That's it. If you mess up, just click the rectangle to delete it. So if I click submit, and I'll still have it up for you guys, it should be correct. So again, this should be similar to what your histogram should look like. And again, it doesn't matter how many units your bars are in width, as long as it's bigger than 1 unit. So it has to be at least 2 units over. Any questions on that? All right. So the rest of class, you can do all the ones that say dot plots and histograms. So all the sections that say dot plots and histograms you should be able to do. We'll do box plots and frequency tables, or two-way frequency tables, tomorrow. All right. So you guys got a solid 20 to 15 minutes. So go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and post the exit ticket too. If you can't see the exit ticket, it's also posted in Canvas. Because I got some sleepers. Here you go. Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your favorite candy?
Kit Kats.
Kit Kats?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like,
What else do you like, Ms. Murphy?
like, what are you into, Miss Murphy? Like, what do you want?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you want for your birthday?
Oh, I don't care.
You gonna be gone for Wednesday?
Thursday, Friday. So I'll be gone
Thursday and Friday? I thought you were just gone Thursday.
and Friday. I'll be gone the rest of the week after tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. So tomorrow we gotta celebrate your birthday.
I guess if you want, you don't have to.
I think you should bring in some sweet treats for your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Too.
You know, some donuts or something.
You know.
So in other words, I gotta spend my own money on my own birthday.
But we're celebrating it with you.
We're your best friends, right? Hey.
What's up?
You know you missed us yesterday. Who'd you talk to without us?
Yeah, who'd you talk to?
I don't know. It was very quiet.
Yeah.
Kind of liked it.
Okay, you're
Oh,
fake.
Wow. Wow, Miss Murphy, that was kind of like hurtful.
I'm joking, y'all.
You lying. You know you missed us.
Yeah. You know you miss us. You always will.
You'll remember us all right.
I remember you all right.